Welcome back, Some Hacker. We are diving deeper into simultaneous equations, so let's get stuck in. All right, so having a look at my two equations here, I feel like my second one is going to be a lot easier to manipulate and find x as the subject. So basically, I'm going to change that up to x is equal to 3 minus 2y. So that's what I'm going to make my first equation. And then I'm going to label my other one my second equation. And then all you need to do is say put 1 into 2, and then we can get stuck in. Awesome. So what we want to do is wherever we see x here, we want to make sure that we are substituting that bad boy into it. It's going to look like this: 3 minus 2y squared minus 4 times 3 minus 2y. But then I mustn't forget my y at the end there. And then I've got minus 3 minus 2y plus 4y equals to 0. Awesome. Everything is already on the one side, which is fantastic. Then the next thing that I want to do is expand these brackets. And then what I'm going to do is multiply this y into this bracket first before I tackle the negative 4. So we're going to have 3 minus 2y times 3 minus 2y minus 4. But remember, I'm going to multiply my y in here. So I'm going to have 3y minus 2y squared bracket. Then I'm going to multiply this minus into the bracket here. That's going to give me minus 3 plus 2y. And then I'm left with plus 4y. Excellent. So now I'm going to use my FOIL here to make sure that I get my answer correct. That will give me 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 2y is going to give me negative 6y. Same with the other one, negative 6y. And then minus 2y times minus 2y is going to give me positive 4y squared. Now I'm going to multiply my 4 into this bracket here. So I'm going to have minus 12y plus 8y squared, and then I'm just going to write the rest of my equation down. All right, it's at this point that I am going to simplify. So I like to look at my y squared first. So here I'm going to have 12y squared. Then I'm going to cross those out because I've used them. Then I'm going to take a look at my y's. So let me quickly circle them. That is going to give me minus 18y. I'm going to cross them out because I have worked with them. Then I'm simply going to take my 9 minus 3, and that is going to give me positive 6, and that's all equal to 0. Now, hopefully you see that everything is divisible by 6 here. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my life as easy as possible, and so I'm going to simplify as far as I possibly can. So I'm going to divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. And I'm going to be left with 2y squared minus 3y plus 1 is equal to 0. Excellent. Now I can factorize in my two brackets. So I'm going to stick my two brackets down. I'm going to say equals to 0. Then I know that I'm going to have 2y in the one bracket and then y in the other, because 2y times y is going to give me 2y squared. Then I need to look at my last variable here and ask myself what factors of 1 are going to give me 1. And the only thing I can write here is 1 and 1. And then I look at the sign, I see that's positive, which means that the sign has to be the same in both brackets. But because my b value is negative, I know that those have to be negative signs. So I'm going to have minus in here and minus in here. So now all I need to do is solve for y. So I'm going to say 2y minus 1 is equal to 0, or y minus 1 is equal to 0. And then I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to say 2y is equal to 1. And then I'm going to divide by 2 because I want my y alone. But what I do on the one side, I must do on the other. So here, those 2's are going to cancel out, and I will be left with y is equal to a half, or y is equal to 1. Amazing. So now I'm going to say put y values into 1. So I'm going to have y is equal to a half, and then y is equal to 1 on this side. Then I'm going to put my first equation down, which was this over here. So let's stick it below here. I'm actually just going to move it down here. So it's going to be x is equal to 3 minus 2y, as well as on this side, x is equal to 3 minus 2y. Now I just plug in my variables. So x is equal to 3 minus 2 times half and that will give me x is equal to 2. And then on the other side, I'll have x is equal to 3 minus 2 times 1, and that will give me x is equal to 1. And those then are your final answers. So let me actually just circle them quickly. Y is equal to a half, y is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, and x is equal to 1. And that's it for this lesson. Nice going, some hacker. But let's keep that momentum going. And if you are ready to jump into the next video, go ahead and do so. Or if you want to take some time on this, don't stress, pause this video, rewind, and do it again. And then when you're ready, hop into the next one. I'll see you there.